And our whole societal readiness assessment methodology is about challenging this very idea of solutions, because the problem is so complex and so human that what we need is responses and responsibility, bigger responsibilities. And that's, I mean, when we were talking earlier, Curtis, you talked about how it's all about people, and we should make societal readiness assessment the dominant approach for shaping low carbon innovations. How do you think RICA can contribute to that?
I'd like to redefine what climate action is first. It's not just about saving the planet, but it's primarily about caring for the people that live in our planet. And we won't be able to achieve this until we ourselves, as the people, work together. I think there's this whole interdisciplinary approach we need, which requires a collective response. For example, Will mentioned public transport. Young people have for years advocated for more reliable, feasible, fair, and efficient transport, and now look at the importance of it in decarbonizing our means of travel. The issue of youth participation in the democratic process. Look how many young people are now engaged and at the heart of the climate movement. They're using this avenue of climate change, not just to help save the planet, but as an extra platform to which they can further solve the greater oppressions affecting young people as a whole. And I think to change and to adapt for climate action helps create this youth democratic renaissance, and a rebirth in many other constituent areas that climate change oppresses and where a lack of climate action exacerbates the issue. And opportunities is absolutely societal readiness, because they make us listen, they make us learn, and opportunities make us change. This really highlights the extreme importance in working as a collective so that we can actually utilize the very gift we have in being social animals.
How can we use societal readiness assessment as a process of interfering in that kind of systemic innovation that's needed, actually?
You have to give the public agency, but you've also got to give them the ability to change. And that means bus companies and government standing up for this sort of stuff and making sure those are there. Because
exactly, and that's where the societal readiness assessment process comes in. And so the bus companies, actually, when they decide where to do the routes, they have to consult with RICA, for example, and other groups who have a stake in the public transport system, including politicians. That comes back to that kind of, we have to do this collectively.
It's around, creating a dedicated system for climate education in schools, particularly for young people. And it's around these societal readiness programs. I think one of the most interesting things about public transport is that it's one of the biggest issues where societal readiness is already above technological readiness, in the sense that the only barrier now is just government subsidizing and funding public transport and making it feasible, efficient, and fair for everyone.
Actually, we've sort of been pleasantly surprised, and I think Curtis would agree, that a lot of groups have come to us when we speak to stuff, when they want to speak to us, and a lot of groups, a lot of people we have a first meeting with, and then they come back to us. I mean, Decarbonate was one of the first people that came to speak to us, which was really nice because we were sort of young and new and we didn't know what we were doing. And then a big fancy organization went, do you want to come speak at this event? But I think trying to build up that relationship without sacrificing any of that ability to tell them what they're doing wrong.
Actually, hearing you talk, sometimes when we're developing this societal readiness assessment, I just really get totally bogged down because it becomes such a complicated process. And you have to think through all the things that, you assess the utility of it, the social good, the ethics. Those are all such complex things. And how do you make indicators and criteria for people to actually make an informed and fair evaluation? And so sometimes I just think, well, this fight against technology readiness levels in the same terms of this assessment kind of approach. Yes, it is a kind of partisan approach, but you've just given me a lot more energy to do it, actually, to want to do it, because I think that's exactly why we want to do it, to properly democratize and make give opportunities for proper participation, appropriation, and engagement in the whole decision-making and design process of low carbon innovation.
So you're solving this whole holistic image, like you said. And it's around instilling this impetus of further change and further drive. You said, Monika, you said, you feel more inspired. Well, likewise with us, Rico, we feel more inspired to work on this issue. And this links back to the ripple effect. It's this local conversations of change that hopefully can create and spark global waves of action. And this is just emblematic right now of
yeah.